Hello and welcome to Soups and Sabers. My name is Jordan. With me, as always, talking Peacemaker is Chris. All right, take Chris.
I'm doing pretty well, enjoying the weekend, and we've got some fun stuff to talk about. So life is pretty good, man.
Yeah, we are. Before we dive into Peacemaker episodes 3 and 4 of season 2, we are going to be getting Chris's thoughts on the big announcement that happened right before I went on vacation. Which is the new film James Gunn announced called Man of Tomorrow, which is releasing July 9th, 2027. Chris, give me your thoughts on when that was announced, what your thoughts were. I know you were kind
Yeah,
of busy at the time, so you weren't able to hop
yeah,
in the chat right away, but what was your thoughts when you read the news?
yeah. So when I read the news, I was catching up on this thread. So it was basically you and Ron saying like a thousand things. It's like, what are they talking about? Because like I was at the middle school, I had my phone on do not disturb, and like I was just like, I turn it back on and it just gets a rush of it. So it was fun to uncover that as the afternoon went on. And I couldn't be more excited about Man of Tomorrow because I think the title is perfect because it's such a Lex focus, it's such a Superman. Like either of them could be the Man of Tomorrow kind of thing, as you've kind of talked about in your coverage. And I just like the idea of Superman and Lex Luthor being put together, whether they like it or not. And I think that's going because I think Nicholas Hoult and David Cornsweet have a really good chemistry already. And I don't think the first movie did anything but sample that. Like they weren't back and forth for most of the movie. So I think the that's going to be a lot of fun. I think things are getting bigger in the DCU, and I couldn't be more excited. I think it's going to be a blast. The fact of the matter is that we have a Man of Tomorrow movie scheduled already. The momentum of the DCU is as exciting as the project itself.
Yeah, James Gunn had a little bit more to say about it on the Howard Stern show, where he let it slip, or advised everyone that it's going to start filming around April 2026. So we are already getting closer and closer to that date. Like that's less than a year away that they'll be starting to
Mm-hmm.
film it. Um, and I think we might know as well that Rick Flag Sr. is in it because Brandon Davis, formerly of Comic Book, I think it was comicbook.com he used to work at, had a podcast interview with um, Frank Grillo, who had mentioned that he was going to get ready to film something after he's done like Tulsa King season 4 or something. And uh, at the time that he was interviewing him was when James Gunn broke the news. So he wasn't actually able to follow up on that. But then I think he said later that Frank Grillo confirmed it's Man of Tomorrow. We don't know for sure, but we do know that James Gunn was saying that he is uh, kind of a big character going forward. So it could be for that. It could be for the other secret show that he's talking about getting filming soon. Um, but he also said this on Howard Stern. It's a story about Lex Luthor and Superman having to work together to a certain degree against a much bigger threat. A lot of people speculating Brainiac. I do think that is probably the most likely or close to the most likely, but I think people are getting a little too far ahead of themselves here. Almost the same way, Chris, that they were immediately saying it's World's Finest. And then when that was
Mm-hmm.
debunked, they would immediately switch to it's Supergirl, Superman against Brainiac. And then they've held on to the Brainiac part, and now they've said, no, it's this. Like, just let it happen, right? We will
Yeah.
find out more stuff when casting comes out, or we get set photos or something.
One thing I was thinking about is like General Zod would actually be interesting now. Now that you have one movie in, and the Jor-El and Laura were like secret harem, like take over the planet, spread your genes, make new Krypton. Like, okay, if that's how the House of L is taking it, General Zod could be a very interesting villain um, moving forward. So that's another thing. Maybe you have a Kandorian army or something. James Gunn is known to pull out all of it. I think Brainiac is most likely, but it's another thing I thought about.
I kind of don't want Zod just because I feel like he's been overused at this point. With like, he's in almost every Superman iteration, which I get it, but
Mm-hmm.
like Brainiac doesn't have as much live action appearances,
Right.
so I'd rather it be Brainiac. I could see
There's yeah.
Mongol. I could see it
Ooh,
be Mongol
Mongol,
because
yeah.
we know he liked Mongal. She was in the Suicide Squad. So like they could even maybe canonize that part of Suicide Squad. That
Mm-hmm.
Mongal was there, and maybe Mongol is,
Mm-hmm.
has a connection to that. Um, yeah, I don't know. I could see it being a couple things, but I really love in the artwork and everything, just how they have these. The one that they used comic book artists to do this concept art for the
Absolutely, yeah.
reveal, and uh, that we see Lex in the power suit. So I do think we're for sure getting it, because if we're not getting it after 3 concept photos showing it, it's really the only way Lex can effectively team up with Superman too, I think, as well.
Yeah.
So I think we're getting it.
Yeah, it would make too much sense not to get it. I actually think they probably were going to tease it at one point for the first movie and then ended up not going in that fashion. But I, the one thing I would say about Brainiac is there's a thirst for it. Like people keep, I think that's what the fans want.
Yeah.
If you ask them what they want, that would be the number one thing that people would say. The only counterpoint I would say about Zod is, yeah, Zod is pretty much in everything Superman. It would almost feel weird if David Cornsweat's time comes and goes, and we don't even go the General Zod route ever. I'm sure there's so much room for that, though, that it's not that much of a concern. I'm not saying I want Zod. I prefer Brainiac. I'm just saying,
Right.
if the Kryptonians are going to be ruthless in the House of L, General Zod would that'd be interesting
And
because
I'm
he's the
gonna
one
say
who's supposed to be ruthless.
this too here is that I am kind of thankful it's not the Superman Supergirl team up movie.
Mm-hmm.
Not that I don't like Supergirl, it's just that um I really like the dynamic of this Lex and this Superman. So when this was revealed as the team up and it's not Batman and Superman, it's
Mm-hmm.
not Superman and Supergirl. One, we haven't seen enough of Millie Alcock Supergirl for me to really be excited about it. Like I'm sure next year if I walk out of Supergirl, the Woman of Tomorrow movie that may not have that subtitle anymore. If I walk out of that and she was great and everything was awesome, I'd be like, all right, now I'm excited for it. But after just watching Superman so far in this new DCU, keeping the focus on Superman and Lex, uh, and them having to team up and be like unlikely hero, like unlikely allies, and then maybe fight each other as well. I think that intrigues me more because we know their dynamic. We've seen it in the movie, and we've only scratched the surface of it. And I want more of that. So I think that's why I'm a little bit more excited about that than if it was Superman, Supergirl, and definitely more excited than if it was World's Finest. So we can save Batman for later. Oh, also briefly, we can talk about this too. But Clayface has started filming.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so that comes out almost a year from today. It's September 11th. We're recording this on Saturday the 13th. But September 11th, 2026, Clayface comes out. We've gotten some good looks at Gotham's on the set pics. There's been things where the Merge Bros say, "We're back. The merge is happening." And then there's signs that point to the merge not happening.
Mm-hmm.
And look, some of that set stuff is not going to matter at all. We saw on some of the Superman set, right? Like him saving a train on a newspaper. It didn't factor into the movie at all. Some of it's just set dressing. And some of it's not even going to be visible when you're actually watching the movie. So James Gunn kind of had to come out and debunk, like, I guess somebody stuck a sticker of the Batman bat
Yeah, I
logo,
saw that, and
and he
I saw
said,
him debunk that.
yeah, he said there, he said he doubts that one of the art department did that, and it never came across his desk to approve. And I saw people be like, well, he never said Pattinson isn't going to be the Batman in the DCU, and one, he said that a lot, but two, um,
Yeah.
two, uh, I don't know if he says like that wasn't intentionally placed there, then I think that means that his intent is for this not to be connected. We kind of know. I know that he has maybe still said we're not fully locked in with Batman and what we're doing over there. It's still kind of up in the air. I don't think really the merge is still up in the air, but maybe it is. Who knows? But like, I don't think we'll find out from a sticker placed on a trash can on a set photo.
Yeah. I feel like the Battinson conversation is so tired and frustrating at this point. It's kind of like hitting your head against the wall. It's like, why are we still having this conversation? James Gunn could not be more clear that it's not happening. And even if it was, Matt Reeves has not sounded on board at all in any way. I just think the conversation is getting stupid. I'm more excited about like what I'm seeing with like the Sionis Industries and like
The Flying
all these.
Graysons. They had the Flying
Yeah,
Graysons poster, and
like
yeah.
this would be such a more fun thing to talk about because that to me is tangible. That's being put into the movie. That's giving some
Mhm.
Gotham some character and some lived in like experience. Like I'm interested in the Easter eggs for Clayface. To me is a movie. I I don't want to say that I'm not excited about it because I'm totally going to watch it. But like it's a movie that like if it wasn't happening, I wouldn't be like completely so like
Right, right.
distraught. Like so, I'm in it for the Easter eggs as much as anything. So the fact of the matter is, seeing some of these things in the production so much more exciting. And I'm so tired of the Battinson and the DCU conversation. We have had
Same.
it. We've had. I've gotten to a point where I don't want it. Like there was a point where I kind of was flirting with the idea. Just can we move on? It's
Mhm.
gonna. The sad reality is we're gonna be having this conversation until Batman is officially cast for the DCU. That's probably not going to be happening
Yeah.
for a little bit. So
Yeah.
yeah,
We'll see. We'll see how it goes.
yep.
But yeah, that's kind of the big DC news that has happened. So we have
Mhm.
another DC movie being shot. We're gonna have another one starting to get shot in April. Like, things are moving, right? Things are moving,
Mhm.
and we also have Lanterns that is wrapped, right? So like, we have some stuff that's still coming along here, but let's go to the world of the DCU and talk about the last two episodes of Peacemaker. We had originally had plans while I was out to have Ron fill in. That episode just didn't work out time wise. At that point, it was let's just knock them out together once I'm
Mhm.
back. So that because if we by the time I got back on Monday, it was late, and then it's like, okay, if we do it Tuesday, Wednesday, then the episode's on Thursday, like let's just talk about it all at once. So it makes it a lot easier on us. But yeah, so we're talking about Peacemaker season 2, episode 3, another Rick up my sleeve, written by James Gunn, directed by Greg Mottola, premiered on September 4th, 2025 on HBO Max, and also talking episode 4, Need I Say Door, written by James Gunn, directed by Peter Sollett, premiered September 11th, 2025 on HBO Max. Um, so we'll just kind of talk about these episodes together, I guess.
Mhm.
Whatever comes to mind as we go here. But um, what was your thoughts on? Let's just say general thoughts on that third episode that we maybe all agree in our chat was maybe a little
Mhm.
overhyped by online.
Yeah, I thought it was a good episode. I don't think it was my favorite episode of the season. I was expecting it because we had heard that this was supposed to be the best of the first 5 episodes, and that this fifth episode has like a um season finale kind of vibe, and then like the next 3 are like its whole thing. So I was really hyped going into the episode, and I got to be honest with you, it was good. I thought it felt a little flat. The other dimension really didn't throw me off by any big surprises. I liked some of the comedy with. I think some people were saying, "Oh, there was too much comedy in this one." Like Rick Flag Jr. in the other dimension is just hilarious. Like stumbling over the trash can, being so desperate and like insecure. I really enjoyed it. I thought Amelia Harcourt saying like, "Oh, you've been working on stuff. What, like your delts? You're gonna tell me you've been working on your delts?" And he's like, "Always my delts, but like I've actually," and like I thought that it was kind of cool to see that the other Peacemaker had no growth whatsoever. Like it wasn't even in the conversation. So you're dealing with a much deeper Peacemaker in like a kind of a shallower world where yeah, things are good for him, but like it's you know he's kind of a dick is what I'm getting from it. But I don't know. I liked it. I didn't love it. I think I've liked every other episode more than that episode.
Yeah, I'd probably agree. Actually, I think part of it is just the perception of the expectations, right? So like we both really liked the first 2 episodes. Um so then when you have some people saying this next one is the best of the 5, which some people said, I think I've read a lot of people say episode 5 is actually the best of the 5. But like there was people out there saying this one is my favorite one out of the 5. And then you had an account, I don't remember what account it was, and even if I did, I probably wouldn't say which account it is, but there was an account out there that said, "Wait until you see this one. Like there's a big surprise in this one." So I'm waiting the whole episode for the big surprise, but I'm assuming they were referring to
Rick Flag Jr.
Joel Kinnaman coming back in.
Like, and we had talked about it. Like, I was like, the
We
only
all
reason
kind
I
of
was,
thought he was going to
yeah,
be in this show. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. The only reason I was skeptical about like Amelia Harcourt being the Jarhead being Joel Kinnaman was because I was like, it just seems so obvious. Like maybe it would, you know, like like there would be a twist to that. But we learned a lot about that. But no, it wasn't a surprise. So I too was waiting for a big surprise because nothing had surprised me to this point.
Yeah, so then I was thinking it was going to reveal that like what this universe is, and we didn't get that either. So then I was like,
Mhm.
maybe they were just talking about Joel Kinnaman, but like I'm pretty sure the director actually tagged him in an Instagram post like when they were filming.
Mhm.
So like we kind of knew he was going to be in this, and just like it's the obvious thing to do when you're talking about how he's dealing with Keith, right? Another person he's killed, his dad, another
Mhm.
person he's killed, being alive in this universe and loving him. Oh wait, and then the death that kind of kicked off this whole show and his journey itself, which is the death of Rick Flag Jr., which has started this whole thing. The other twist, I guess you could say, is that we saw our Rick Flag Jr. as well 3 years prior,
Mhm.
right before he ships out to Corto Maltese, having some relations with Amelia Harcourt.
Which also makes a lot of sense. Um,
Yeah, why she really didn't like him in
yeah,
season 1 and everything. Yeah.
it pieces things together, and it puts her in a. It makes her reluctance to be with Peacemaker. It makes it a little bit more of it's not just because she has issues. It's because she would feel guilty as hell, um, because he killed her former boyfriend. Like that. That makes more sense to the obstacle of
Maybe
the
not even
relationship.
boyfriend, right? Like a fair partner, because
Yeah,
they mention
yeah.
in this, by the way,
Hmm.
uh, there's a little bit of connectivity to Suicide Squad, 2016's Suicide Squad, when he's mentioning that he is with Enchantress, and how she's like, "Shouldn't you be with her before you ship out?" So that happened in 2016 Suicide Squad, so there's a little connection to there. But yeah, so like maybe not actual boyfriend, but maybe like her boyfriend, but he is having an affair. Right? Like
Well,
we don't know how it really goes, I guess.
well, it seemed like it seemed like they had this friends with benefits thing and this cheating thing
Yeah.
going on, but it seemed like their emotional connection was to each other, which probably stinks for the person for on the end of that triangle. But like, yeah, that was a pretty cool DC pull with Enchantress. And they kind of were like, yeah, the whole this universe might be worth it,
Yeah.
and it was pretty good. But I think with this relationship, their personalities really do make sense together. Like it's not that big of a surprise.
Yeah. Yeah. And I was very happy to see Joel Kinnaman back again because, like, I knew him from the, I guess it was AMC, The Killing, which was a show on AMC, and then I think got canceled and then went to Netflix or something. But Joel Kinnaman was on that, and it was like his first big American role over here, and it was a really great show. He was awesome in it. And I know people say he's not really that interesting of a character in 2016 Suicide Squad, but because I like the actor, I was still attached to him in that movie, and I was very happy they brought him back for the Suicide Squad. And I was so sad when he died that
Mm-hmm.
I'm happy to see him again because he's great.
Yeah. 2016 Suicide Squad. If you weren't if you weren't Harley Quinn or Will Smith's Deadshot, there wasn't much in there for you. They
Right,
were
right.
the clear focus. They were clearly what the movie was trying to sell.
And interestingly, in this universe, right, in Earth 2, I don't know what we want to call it, I guess, but in the alternate universe, he is a bumbling kind of comedic guy, desk worker at Argus, and not
Mm-hmm.
like a field agent. So he got to play a little bit of a different role than he usually does, and that's interesting because I'm guessing whatever shaped his life to be how he is in our universe, the DCU, hasn't happened here, and he's just more of a pencil pusher type of guy,
Yeah, I thought he was hilarious. I just I like it
tripping
was
over
just
stuff.
yeah, just the see this is why the trash can doesn't go there, and it
Right.
was just I was laughing a lot at that. I thought he did a really good job. The ridiculousness of it, where he's like looking over the cubicle,
Mm-hmm.
like and, and she's just like, oh my god, can we get out of here? It was perfectly done without overdoing it. I like Joel Kinnaman's performance in this episode.
Yeah. He was great on the podcast too. If people want to check out, not ours, James Gunn's podcast with him, he had Joel Kinnaman on, and that was
I was like, Jordan, you had Joel Kinnaman on and I wasn't on.
yes, we
Give
did.
me a
Yeah.
break. I'd be like, no, this is podcast breaking up time.
But no, yeah,
I would be mad.
He was on James Gunn's podcast. He was great there, and that was a good time. But
Yeah, absolutely.
anyway, in this whole episode is pretty much in the other universe when we're talking about Chris and what he is up to, and he, wakes up after drunk texting Harcourt, and his brother finds him on the bed, and he sees some text messages where Amelia is like, "Hey, come meet me at work." Well, he doesn't know where she works, right? Um, which makes sense. He knows where she works in the real life. You don't know if her life went the same way in this one, so you have no clue where she's at. But Keith tells him Argus, and he finds out he has a peace cycle as well, and he's dressed like the Kardashians. And interestingly enough, they don't exist in this universe. And I know that could be a joke, but if we go with the theory, all right, Chris, if we go with the theory that everybody's sharing of this being like Nazi or white supremacy world here, okay, which maybe from the background actors, I'm starting to buy into a little bit more. But
Yeah.
if that's true, then the Kardashians really wouldn't be as prominent because they gained notoriety through their father being the defender of O.J.
The
Simpson.
J. Simpson. Yep.
So I was making connections there of like, okay, so maybe OJ doesn't exist in this or didn't have the trial. It could even be that, let's say everything is normal. It could be OJ didn't have a trial and the Kardashians didn't become popular because of that, right? Like there could be other ways there. But I thought it was interesting that the Kardashians still have a link to that, when we're talking about the popular theories. Now, what is the reception going to be like if it turns out this world is not Nazi America? Because I feel like everybody is just assuming it is.
Yeah, it is incredibly white. Incredibly white. And that's very odd for a James Gunn production because James Gunn's
Right. If you
productions,
look at Superman, it was very
yeah,
diverse in the crowd.
like it's never. But see, he's never
And
been
they
a
filmed in
guy.
Georgia.
Yeah,
So there's tons
mhm,
of options to have background
right.
actors.
He's never been a guy who would just do that on purpose. Like obviously he's not that way. So like, it just seemed odd. And also what we know about Peacemaker's family on our world is that white dragon, uh, white supremacist father. Uh, you know, I think that maybe it fits
My
in the
my
puzzle piece too easy.
Yeah, so I have two complaints about this, okay?
Okay,
If it turns out this way, this will
it's a lot of
be what?
circumstantial.
I don't have a lot of complaints about stuff on our
Hmm.
shows, right? So
Hmm.
I'm not a shill, I guess, right? But if there's two complaints. Right now, I haven't seen any evidence that his father and Keith would be racist in this universe. In the sense of he doesn't go by White Dragon. He is supposedly known as Blue Dragon. So if it was like a perfect world for white supremacists, wouldn't he want to be still called White Dragon?
You wouldn't
Uh,
need to be because the problem wouldn't be in front of him.
yeah, that's what I've seen people say too. But it's also like, I don't know, the way he cares for his sons is so different from
It
how
is
he
very
acts
different.
in our
Mhm.
universe. So I'm kind of wondering about it. Keith wasn't very pro white supremacy in the DCU either
Mhm.
when we see flashbacks to Keith.
Mhm.
So that's a little bit of a doubt for me. But my actual complaint if this happens, and there's ways that like James Gunn can fix this where this isn't a complaint for me, is I
Yeah.
think it makes the decision for Chris too easy to want to go back home. Because then he realizes it's not like a perfect world anymore, right? Like the
Mhm.
temptation should be that everything is great over there for him and he wants to go back to the DCU and make his life
So
better
you're
in
saying
that regard.
so, so you're saying the twist has to be subtle to the point where what he's giving up is still hard for him.
Yes. Where it's not like,
Okay,
oh,
that
I
makes
can give
sense.
this up. Like, not where he's like, I can give this up easily now because they're a bunch of racist scumbags.
Hmm. It's a little bit interesting because if it's in a world where they've systematically gotten rid of anybody who's different, they might not be actively hating that much because they have you know there's nobody around to for them to hate. So maybe it's not outwardly shown. But I would say that I was almost like skeptical about it, and the fact that James Gunn hasn't shot it down at all has made me kind of, because he's pretty proactive with stuff. It made me kind of think it might be true.
I don't know what he would shoot down though. Like other than just like, oh no, we did have people back there that were.
I could see it being not
because otherwise
exactly
you
the.
just. What I would think as him, he's not going to clarify anything until the end of the show, and in my opinion, because it's like it's actively ongoing. Let people theorize, and then you can kind of step in after that if you needed to.
I'm a little frustrated that there's all these doors and like there's all these dimensions. He finds another dimension and he doesn't have the curiosity to go searching for the other doors, because I would be like really wanting to find all the other doors.
I think we'll get that still. I think we'll still get some other looks at it as well. Okay, so I did look this up because Sons of Liberty, I was thinking about it made me think of the Sons of Themyscira from Creature Commands.
Okay.
I wanted to make sure that they were not also called the Sons of Liberty, which was, I believe, a real thing. The Sons of Liberty. But
well, the Agent of Liberty was Small Girl, Supergirl. Did I just say Small Girl?
Yeah, Small Girl.
Supergirl.
But no, I meant like Sons of Liberty. I think it was a real life thing back in the day. But anyway, they're the ones that are going to attack here. They're not your. Here's where it also is kind of suspicious, right? They're not your typical terrorists. And what I mean by that is they're kind of bumbling idiots, right? You have one that trips and blows up himself.
Yeah.
And then they don't seem super, like, good at what they're... Even the bomb that they set up is easily dismantled by Peacemaker. All he had to do was unplug it.
Yeah, it's like, I don't know anything about bombs. Oh, that was easy.
Right. So so it could be that because, these might be the actual good guys fighting against a more tyrannical government. We don't know, right? But like, if so, maybe that would be why they are not like as good at this type of stuff, is because they are maybe more idealists that are not able, but they are the only ones to take steps to bring this down, right?
Yeah, it was kind of like Die Hard, but it was a little too easy.
Oh yeah, I mean, he did said some of my favorite moments though. Like he with the axe in the guy's brain, and the guy's just like,
he's like, what? Wait, what?
And then you had the pencil deaths, which were pretty tough, into the ears and moving that around. But he kicked ass, man. Peacemaker did what he had to do. He stopped the bomb. His brother shows up. Everybody's celebrating. It's a big turn on for Harcourt, right? She's like nonstop texting him after this, and they're talking about maybe starting up something, and he has to maybe. I think he texted her saying he needs to close up some stuff, and that's kind of referring to maybe him going back to our world, doing what he needs to do, and then go back to theirs.
I think he wants a relationship with his Harcourt, and this is making him really want his Harcourt to be his love. And he says when Vigilante gets the doors, and he's like, I got to borrow your ride. And he's like, do you think this is safe? And he goes, I got to see about something before I know what to do next.
Right.
And that's what I think that is. I think he's being like, hey, is there anything there? Because if there's anything there, it's more real, and like I care about that,
And if there's not, I'm gonna go to this other world.
I got my backup Harcourt. Yeah.
And he can always just go back and forth between them, I guess, in his mind. Or he would move firmly over there, right? Like, I don't know what his ideal would be. But I'm sure he would come back and get Eagly and, go into this other world.
So I was kind of wondering if there was an Eagly on, like, the other planet.
I don't think so. And the reason I don't think so is because Eagly is his best friend. But he really only needed that, I think, after the loss of his brother and the way his dad treated him, that I don't think that was needed in this universe, right? He is part of the
Yeah.
top trio. They love each other. They support each other. There's no need for Eagly.
One of the things I really loved about the last episode was you get the flashback of him, Keith, and his father hunting, and they find that weird alien. But the first off,
Kermit.
the weird,
Yeah, great Kermit.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, it's exactly what it was. But it like, but like you can see that Chris is like in this moment is he's got his humanity. He's like, oh, I'm feeling bad for this thing. He feels actual empathy, like as much as a kid can feel it, and like it's one of the things that like he has always been deeper than anybody in his life has ever given him credit for, and that's a real life manifestation of that in his most pure self as a child.
Yeah, and he tries to tell his dad not to shoot the alien. That was the opening here. So do we think this is like an alien from another planet, or it just like walked through this door as one of the doorways from the alternate universe?
See, I'm a little confused about the difference between different dimensions and multiverse. And I feel like the DCU is going dimensions rather than alternate planets. But I'm a little confused. I'm not going to lie. I'm a little confused on is this like, are there like unlimited dimensions? And then is there like the same thing for another universe? Or it's like, there are no multiverse in this. It's just one universe with a bunch of different dimensions. I'm a little lost on that front. So I don't know if it's an alien or not.
Yeah, it is a little, I guess, confusing with dimensions. I kind of feel like sometimes this is all just the same thing but worded differently, right?
Yeah.
So I mean, look, this is something I just Googled here, so let's see what this says. This is from 2021 from a website. Who knows what it is, right? But they are saying that there is a infinite number of dimensions typically. Now this one has 99 in the quantum unfolding chamber, which because they all are kind of a little different, right? So I feel like you have the one with the alien, which you assume is like an alien world that is if maybe
The
Earth
aliens
was
invaded like a
yeah,
long
maybe the
time
aliens
ago.
invaded Earth or whatever. Yeah, they
And
built the
like so the
pyramids
aliens
and
are just the
stayed or something.
people. Yep.
Yeah. And so it might still be everything on Earth and just like different dimensions of that. Maybe one's like an apocalypse looking one. I think we see in the trailer or something. Like it could be all kind of things like that. And there maybe instead of being a multiverse where it's a different universe, it's still on our Earth plane, but dimensions are maybe more like stacked on top of each other, type of thing. Yeah, I don't know, but I do think that like maybe my theory was this alien that they found is not from our dimension. It's from one of the ones in the door. Maybe it was just out exploring what's going on, right? Because the door was open, so they already had the gateway, and maybe he was just looking around at what's going on, and then gets shot and sounded so sad after he got shot, of
Yeah.
course, and I felt so sorry for Greg Kermit, and rest in peace.
He really did make it look sympathetic.
Yeah.
I was like a little rough. I don't know.
So my question really is, how did? So this is where I was wondering, because he mentions to Adebayo like my dad. We found this thing. It had, and then when he was going with Eagly, he saw the door with the Peacemaker helmets and the same code thing, and he tried it, and it worked. How did the alternate Peacemaker and them get this? Because they don't seem as hateful, I guess, over there. But maybe they were like, this thing's not us, right? Take it out. It's not human. And then they still got it the same way. But we see the way that like young Chris
Well, they're not
was.
nice to him, so
Right, true. Especially ones that jizz in their milk or whatever.
yeah.
So maybe they still did it the same exact way, but like we see how his dad was very hateful and made Chris set it up. Maybe
Mhm.
there is a thing where maybe Augie sets it up in the alternate universe instead of Chris, or whatever. But they still have access to this thing. They just don't use it as much, I guess.
Yeah, it's interesting. I feel like the problem I'm having with the episode in which they focus on the other dimension is that it we spent a lot of time over there without pretty much anything being accomplished or getting done to tell us about the story. There wasn't a lot of details added to the story. It was a nice pause button in between eagerly messing everybody up and then coming back.
Well, I don't think so much there's like, you mean in our world or in that world? Because like
Yeah.
I think it helps the story episode 3 in the sense of it really sets the stage to show Chris this is everything you do want. It's not just that his
Hmm.
brother is alive and his dad's alive. It is you are revered here. Like we see it when he's going through the stop signs, right? I mean, like and through the traffic and everybody's cheering for him, and we see he has that connection with Amelia. So it's like almost everything is better here to make him say that, best dimension ever, like he says. Um,
Yeah,
so I
I feel like there's as many questions as I came in with, and like it feels like I would have liked something like one little more detail to hang on to, but honestly, it was pretty good. I don't hate on it.
uh, and then we have the in this episode 4, he comes back to well, we have they love these I was gonna say the one thing I really liked about episode 3 is that they really like these episode openings where it
Hmm.
is, like the one before that in episode 2, we get Rick Flag Sr. getting promoted. He gets the information about his son, and we get to see little pieces of that. And then we get to see that again in episode 3, because when it doesn't just end on that, it shows after talking about him getting shipped out, it kind of fast forwards and ends with the Peacemaker, what a joke, and then into the intro. Which I will say, I know when we got on here, the first time I said like I like the intro. It still needs to work its way into my brain a bit. I am now at the point after 4 episodes where I am anticipating the switch to the intro, and I'm loving the intro. Like I think I'm
Hmm.
fully on board with the switch now. It took a bit, but I am now at that point where I am on board. Been listening to it, I've been singing it, but also just like anticipating it when it's coming on, because they've had some really good switches in these cold opens to the theme song in these
Yeah.
last 3 episodes. Because this one was about like the quantum unfolding chamber, and then it's like the camera's pulling itself back into the quantum unfolding chamber, and then it's
Hmm.
intro, and I was like, this is really working for me now, compared to maybe like the first week or two. I've really come around to it.
Yeah, I think it's going on me. I can't stop singing the damn song. I know that.
Yeah,
It's not possible. It's just there's always a wrong to your right. It's always there.
right. um but in this 4th episode here, we have uh Argus getting ready to take down the door. We have Economos is able to get the message off as Chris is just laying in bed, not realizing until he sees the bullet holes in the
Hmm.
ceiling, and then he starts looking around for Eagly. Eagly's trying to get some salami or bologna, right? Bologna from the fridge.
Yeah, he's not very observant.
No, he's just hungry, hungry boy, Eagly, and uh, Economos gets the text off in time for Chris to be able to start getting them out there. But Eagly's going real slow to the point where they barely get out of there in time. But We didn't talk about it, but at the end of episode 3, they do introduce a new character called what's it? Red Saint Wild, which is Michael Rooker's character. And we also get Rip Jagger. We actually get his name this time. Rip Jagger, Judo Master, is on the team now to take down Peacemaker.
One of the funniest lines is when they're in the van and they're fighting, and like Michael Rooker's character is being racist and the economist is calling him stupid. And Bordeaux's just like, shut up, everyone. And then the guy who didn't like his nickname's like, I didn't even say anything. And she's like, you did now, didn't you?
Yeah.
Like that is like, I love how like they include everyone in the van. It makes it like it much more lived in. Like I thought that was funny. But the most disgusting thing was him eating the bird poop.
I love that. I saw that coming. I was so excited for it.
I told my mom, it's like eyeball floating up the air, fine, sawing body parts, fine, eating bird poop. I'm like, nah, I'm good.
I love the end credit scene where he's just going on and on about what food it is, and Economos is like, he ate all of that since his last shit.
Economist is like, you can't tell. You're bullshitting this. Beluga caviar. He's like, there's no way you know what beluga caviar is.
But he might know, right? Because we do see at the end of this episode that Red Saint Wild can perform magic or some sort of power that he has that grants him the vision to be able to see Eagly and locate him. So maybe the eating shit isn't incorrect.
It's just the grossest. It's kind of like in the movie Elf, where he sees all the gum and he's like, "Ooh, free candy." Just every time it's just like that's the kind of thing that grosses me out. I don't know why the eyeball flying up the air. Fine, I don't care. That's funny.
That's funny. No, because I really enjoyed that part of him eating it. I was like, oh, he's going to eat this. This will be great. But we get Economos teamed up here with Red Saint Wild as they're going through the backyard. And he's about to hit Eagly, and he has to... I thought he killed him here, actually. I thought he killed Red Saint Wild because he pushes him into this rock. And he's just like, oh, shit.
My third eye's been opened.
Yes. Yeah. So, Red Saint Wild, one, Economos tries to come up with a cover story of this other eagle attacked you. And he's like, well, that can't happen unless he's the prime eagle. And all the other ones are like,
he's the primal eagle. And then he's like, we disagree on a lot of things, but we agree that this primal eagle needs to die. And the guy was just like, no,
we don't agree.
We don't agree with that at all.
I really also like the Economos trying to stall opening up the door as well when he was trying to unlock the QUC.
As long as we go back for the cat afterwards.
Yeah. Is there a cat in one of these drawers? And he just throws Flurry underneath the bus in this episode as well with the wink, right? With the he gave a wink.
Well, it's funny. He spits on Flurry, and and he's like, "Who spits on another person?" I was like, "I don't know, Jalen Carter."
True, yeah, it's very timely.
Yeah, I had obviously read it before that, but
it also just happened in one of the Major League Soccer games as well, where Luis Suarez, who's known to bite people on the field, had spit on a coach the other day as well. So it was very timely in both of those instances. But yeah, no, this stuff was all great. And then Sasha Bordeaux, played by Sol Rodriguez, has been really good. They mentioned it in the James Gunn podcast about this, but she originally applied and auditioned for the engineer for Superman.
I can see that. Yeah.
And he liked her, but didn't think she was right for that. And then when he was working on this, was like, oh, let's reach out to her and see if she wants to be Sasha Bordeaux. And so really cool to be, that he can find actors that he thinks may not be right for
Mhm.
that role, but they're very good, and he can find another role for them throughout the DCU.
Well, he's famous for saying that when Nicholas Hoult was auditioning for Superman, he kept covering up
Yeah,
his hair on the camera with his thumb. It's like, I think he might be Lex Luthor. So I think he's always open to seeing what people can do and be like, hey, you might not be my quarterback, but you can probably play tight end. It's
right, right.
so I think he's pretty good at that.
So we get, So as Peacemaker's running away with the little bag thing, it almost looks like a silver purse that
Hmm.
transports the QUC. He we have Judo Master doing his cartwheels next to him
Yeah,
as he's trying to,
I was like,
you
why
know,
is he doing cartwheels? This is like,
helps him move
wouldn't
faster.
it be? I don't know. I was like, wouldn't it be easier? I was thinking it'd be easier to run. Like, I thought it was almost for like intimidation purposes. But like, I
Didn't he
find
do
it
this in
interesting.
season one? I thought he did this in season one too.
He did. The character, this guy's ridiculous. Or ridiculous. I I find it interesting that the little silver purse looks so similar to a Peacemaker helmet. And I
Yeah,
wonder
like
if
did they
that's
get the
kind of where the
design from
origin.
it?
Yeah, I kind of wonder if that's where some of the origin is because Adebayo is like, wasn't your dad like some sort of evil genius? He's like, flunked out of 10th grade, So maybe they all of the technology stems from this little purse thing.
Yeah, well, yeah, because Adebayo's like, I thought your dad created. He said no, and then she's like, well, how does he do the helmet stuff? And he's like, there's like, I'll explain that later. So
Hmm.
it does seem like maybe he's smart enough to do the helmet stuff, or like you said, maybe it is something to do with this quantum unfolding chamber that he's able
Like I feel
to
like he just
do.
discovered a bunch of technology that he just used or like
Maybe
played around with is what I'm thinking.
could be. Um, so we get he does defeat Judo Master by like landing on him, and he's able to message Adebayo to pick him up so he can go to this cabin in the woods where he's going to try to get uh, the new doorway in. He calls uh, Adrian to get doors
Hmm.
at Lowe's, bring them over to him. Um, we have during this time Economos is stalling because he gets away to be able to call him and say, hey, like I'm about to open this thing, and he's like, just stall, I gotta move it. And he does stall. But during all of this, we get Rick Flag Sr. now, who is going to meet with Amelia Harcourt, and he is going to kind of position this a bit, telling her she was black booked and stay. He might be the implication here, right, is that he can reverse that if she gives up the Peacemaker, and that is playing to her, uh, being able to afford stuff and have a job again, and uh,
Hmm.
you know, and we find out. I'm guessing. I think there will be. What I would assume is that there's going to be another flashback at some point to this from the trailer. It looked like for next week. Flashback maybe to the funeral for Joel Kinnaman,
Mm.
Rick Flag Jr., and maybe that's where we see him say like, "Hey, don't call me General. It's Rick." Like
Yeah.
maybe she is able to kind of tell him what their relationship was or something. Where he sees how upset she is about it, and we kind of get some flashbacks to that. But she does, like you said, Chris does message her. He probably wants to see where this can go, and they're going to meet
Hmm.
at Kupperberg Park. I was so excited that he did tell her a different location and did not tell her to cabin in the woods.
Right. That was
So he
smart.
was
Well,
smart. He was smart
yeah.
there.
I I feel like this Peacemaker character, not only is he deeper than he led on in the beginning of the show, he's more with it than like you would think. Like when you started the show,
Yeah.
he's not an idiot. I wouldn't say he's a genius by any stretch of the imagination.
Yeah,
But
and I don't know. I don't know if he meant to do this. Like, I want to know why he would have told her a different location. Because he does trust her, unless if he does have some sort of doubt with the way things ended between them recently, that he's like, I can't fully trust her with Argus down my back right now, too.
yeah, well, he probably knows that she's looking for a way back in.
Right.
So
Maybe
he
that's
doesn't
true.
want to
Maybe.
be. He doesn't want to be the way back in, but he's not going to cut her off because he's in love with her.
Right. Right.
So, I mean, I think his actions make a lot of sense. I did actually start to wonder in this episode. I'm like, what do Peacemaker and like Vigilante do for like money? Because I know Vigilante works at Fennel's Seas or whatever that restaurant is called.
Yeah.
But like, what the hell does Peacemaker do?
He gets paid by the government, I guess.
I guess
Because he was in good standing with them.
Well, I guess because that fridge was. I was like, damn, that fridge is really well stocked. So I was interested. I was like, okay. And then you just go get doors from Lowe's. I'm like, okay. So there's some means, but I'm like, do they work? I don't know. I was thinking that.
Yeah, well, we see Adebayo bought a ad for her new security thing, and Chris had to break it to her that 12 people subscribe to this magazine. She says 12,000? No. 1,200? You know where this is going. I like
this hurt me for Adebayo. Yeah. I like their dynamic. They're very good friends, and like they have such a good dynamic, and like he didn't make her feel stupid, but it was like, come on, get there.
Right.
But yeah, she's like, look at me, this looks freaking awesome, and he's like, oh, ads.
Yeah, I saw some complaints that this episode was filler. I don't think people know what that word means at this point, because there's filler is like nothing changes in the episode, and there is character growth throughout this episode. They're setting up so much stuff in this episode. I don't really know, like
there's a lot of plot in this episode. There's too much plot in this episode to say it's filler. Like there's conflict that actually like moves.
But I think what I saw some people say was, well, last episode ended with Argus hunting him down, and this episode ends with Argus hunting him down. I'm like, that's
kind of what a manhunt is like, you know?
Right. Like what we had Economos stepping up the game here. Econogo, right? Ginger Cool, stepping up his game. We had Amelia.
This is a big Economos episode, yeah.
And we get Amelia Harcourt getting this huge offer from Rick Flag Sr., which is a huge moment in the show so far. And her deciding to go against Chris because she wants in. And we even see Economos looking at her like, come on now. And we get the whole backstory between the QUC and it successfully moving. There's no world where this is filler. It just is a little bit more of a character-based episode than what people probably wanted. People wanted the action.
But that's what TV is. If you want the action, watch the movie. And James has even said on TV, I can do more character stuff.
Yes.
But I think Harcourt might be thinking that she's in between a rock and a hard place. So I could see it being, whereas it's not completely selfish. It's, you know, if I do this, it's a little more controlled and I'm there rather than them just finding.
Right.
Because I can see that being her line of thinking. I think she wants to be part of whatever happens.
Yeah, I think she wants to be in, but I think she is going to be. She'll end up regretting this or have some sort of plan that she wants to help Chris during this as well. So.
I think it's very much like Economos where he's stalling to help Peacemaker open the door. I think it's like he doesn't let the guy kill eagerly. I think Peacemaker essentially has 1.5 people inside. And I count Harcourt as the person half inside because she's she's playing both sides probably. She's I don't know where she doesn't have a defined thing either way. I don't think she trusts Rick Flag, Senior. I don't think she trusts him at all. I actually think she seemed very uncomfortable with him. And I thought, keep calling
and
me
she
Rick.
defended him.
Yeah.
She defended him there again, saying it was Waller's. Waller's thing, which we got some great stuff here. I wanted to quickly share as well before we leave, but this is we got Creature Commandos references during this.
Yeah.
We get her being like, wait, I heard you hurt yourself. And he's like, yeah, broke my back. That's a reference to Clayface wrecking him in what episode was that? That is is that the Iron Pot?
And then like the second to last episode?
Yes. Yeah, it looks like it was Iron Pot. Yeah, when Clayface is fighting him. Yeah, episode 5. We don't know if that's the same Clayface, by the way, as the movie. There's multiple Clayface in comics. It could still be the same Clayface and just be his origin story. We don't actually know yet. But we do have so we got a reference to that. When he's talking to her about, well, you went against Waller's orders in Corto Maltese, and then he says, and I did in Pocolistan, right? He mentions Pocolistan here, so that's another reference to the Creature Commandos, which after 3 projects in the DCU, I'm gonna say it's the most underrated of them because I keep seeing people shrug it off.
It's easily the most underrated. Well, animated shows so in general are animated shows in general are underrated, but like Creature Commandos was I think it's a must watch. I don't think you can skip it. But at the time we were like the official kickoff is Superman, but Creature Commandos is like our kickoff, right? Like our
it's the official kickoff, but like the like people don't watch TV as much as they watch the movies, and people don't watch animated TV as much as live TV, right? So
I feel like it's a must watch. Like if you're into the DCU, you have to watch Creature Commandos.
If you like Peacemaker and Superman and you haven't watched Creature Commandos, do so because it is good. I really enjoyed it. But
that damn Weasel episode, my heart is still not healed from that. That one. I don't know that my heart ever will heal from that episode.
No, and I just rewatched the Suicide Squad in preparation of this, and when Rick Flag mentions he killed 27 children, I was like, "This is not the true story."
You want to be his lawyer. I feel so bad for Weasel. I just feel God.
Yeah, no, that one made me cry every time I watched it. And
I don't think I can watch it again. I don't think I can watch it again.
I will.
I'm actually going to
end up. It is. So I, collect movies physically and TV shows physically. It's not been released on DVD or Blu-ray, but it is on like Fandango at home for purchase, and I think I will get it on there the next time it's on sale. It was on sale a little bit ago, and I have like playlists on there, and I'm gonna have a DCU playlist, my headcanon, right? That includes the Suicide Squad, Blue Beetle, Superman, and Creature Commandos. And Peacemaker. I'm gonna include all of them in that playlist so I can have like my own chronological order playlist or something. But no, we can't talk about it enough. And we did breakdowns for every episode of Creature Commandos on the podcast. Back when it was called Elseworlds. But if you're listening to this on the Supes and Sabers podcast feed or on the YouTube channel, they're on our backlog here on this of what you're listening to. So you should be able to still find them pretty easily by just scrolling back to December and January of this year and listening to them. If you're on the YouTube, there is a playlist called Creature Commandos recaps that you can find all of those on. Okay, well, next week we have the episode named after my favorite movie of all time. It's called Back to the Suture. So I'm assuming somebody's going to have some sutures put in for injuries after this.
Do you know how much I'm enjoying the fact that every title is a pun?
Do you know what episode 6 is? Because you will really like this one.
Okay, what's episode 6?
Ignorance is Chris.
Oh.
And that one is written and directed by James Gunn, while next week is not directed by James Gunn. So it looks like he directs episodes 6 and 8. But we only have titles through 6. We only have titles through 6.
I will say I am looking forward to covering a project where the main character isn't named Chris. Because there's been a couple times where it's like, oh, wait a second.
Yeah, he's not talking about me. He's talking about Peacemaker. Okay.
Like, context is king.
Well, that's why I'm actually
I don't have Chris blindness, but
I am really glad that my name is Jordan, because anytime people say Jordan is the best NBA player, it could be me. It could be me that they're talking about.
I actually, it's so funny. We did my 8th graders were arguing over who's the best in the NBA, and I was like, Jordan's the GOAT, and they're like, Jordan? You think Jordan's the GOAT? They're like, that's crazy. I was like, it's crazy that you think it's crazy.
Yeah.
That Jordan's the GOAT. Like, you can say that you think LeBron is the GOAT and have an argument about that. But I was like, do you understand how crazy it is that you're saying it's crazy? He's like, and this one guy was like, I never saw Jordan play. I was like, bruh.
Yeah, that's the
13.
Point. Watch highlights. Watch the thing.
It kills me. But I thought it was funny that you brought it up.
Yeah. I don't know if we talked about this before, but David Denman's character Keith is apparently Captain Triumph, which is a old comic character from the 40s, back when they were published through Quality Comics. This eventually got bought out by DC. I mean, he's got a red shirt and white pants. It kind of looks like whatever. I mean, he's kind of him in name only, but really cool that Gunn will just take stuff like that and spruce it up a bit, because that's a character that doesn't really get any notoriety at this point.
Like, imagine if you're the one fan, like, you do that before, like, the show. Yeah. And, like, how important that is to you all of a sudden. It's like, yeah, my character.
Yeah. So do you think we get more Joel Kinnaman other than this episode 3?
I mean, I don't think it's going to be that story specific. I know you have the theory that maybe that's what bellows out our Rick Flag, because like there's another version of his son. I don't think it's going to be story specific needing him the way this is going.
We haven't even seen parts of that in the trailer to come, right? There was we haven't even seen him Rick Flag Sr. ask for the person from Belle Reve yet, which we believe to be either Lex, which sets up Man of Tomorrow, which he does say is important, or supposedly Otis Berg and Sidney Happerson will be in this show. Sidney Happerson playing one of James Gunn's friends, played by James Gunn's friend Stephen Blackheart, who's been in Super and a whole bunch of other stuff that James Gunn has done. He was in Superman as the guy that Mr. Terrific pushes out of the way and says, "I'm goddamn Mr. Terrific."
I love his line. I don't know where we're going to land when there's no world to land on, but
I'll stop it when there comes to some city I care about, right?
I love that Otis's last name is Berg, because in Superman 78 he draws Otisburg on the map of the New California, and I was like, that's such a James Gunn thing to do.
And if he has a kid, he can always call him Ice.
Iceberg.
Yeah. Either after his favorite lettuce, or maybe he likes icebergs. But
I mean,
yeah,
or he just really hated the Titanic.
yeah, we won.
Worst movie of all time.
So those characters are supposed to come in. I think Michael Ian Black is supposed to be back as Clevis Thornweight. I don't think we've seen him yet doing his TV talk show
No.
yet. So I believe that was revealed by James Gunn at some point, saying that he also appears in Peacemaker. So we'll see. We'll see on where some of these characters appear. I would assume something goes wrong with him not being able to get Chris this next episode that makes Rick Flag Sr. No, it sounds like he might actually get caught, and he apologizes to from the trailer.
Yeah, well, the trailer made it seem like he gets caught, and it like somehow he gets out of everything.
So does something go wrong with the door that makes him want to go and get Otis and Sydney to help him with this thing because they are familiar with it, or like we have like what do you think spurs Rick Flag Senior to need help with this? Does something go wrong with the quantum unfolding chamber?
I'm thinking the quantum unfolding chamber is going to become unstable because in the Superman movie, when they had the pocket universe, the longer it was open, the and exposed like to the outside like world, the more unstable it became.
So do you think
And
like because they don't have the door on it yet, it could become
well, yeah, and
unstable?
I could also see Peacemaker like forgetting a step or something.
Oh,
That
true, true.
because he's
Because
like,
he
I'm not
only did
really
as a
sure about
kid.
this
Yeah,
part.
yeah, he
Right?
did
He's
as a
like,
kid.
I'm not really sure about this part. So there's probably something he didn't do right.
Yeah, interesting.
I wonder if the keypad, like to have it like closed and like secured, like blocks some of the energy from coming out into the rest of the world, which keeps it stable.
Right, right. Yeah, I
Because
guess
if you
we'll see.
see when it gets hacked and like like there was still the energy there and like it was going to open to it and then the energy went to the other doorway, um it's you could see like the energy was leaking out into the room where Arcanimos and Argus was. So that's my theory is that
Mm,
if you don't have a block, that energy gets out and it like creates this weird fusion.
interesting.
I mean, I could be completely wrong, but that's where I'm going with it.
All right. Well, that will probably be any other theories before we wrap up here.
I theorize that I am going to have an absolute blast with the next episode.
Yeah, the way people have talked about this is a big cliffhanger where it almost feels like a season finale. I told you guys that I thought that the end montage here felt very penultimate episode going into a finale,
Mm-hmm.
and that would make sense. That would track with what we heard, and then like 6, 7, and 8 are like just super wild. James Gunn hasn't shown them to anybody. We got
I
less than a
feel,
month.
yeah. Look, I feel like this show is heavier than the people who are like, this is filler, or the people who are unhappy with it. Like, I feel like this show seems really heavy, and like the stakes seem pretty big right now. So, there's like some pretty damn good drama going on, and I'm like very invested in where the characters are.
You know
So,
what?
like,
I was just gonna say,
the
my
internet broke a lot of things, but like our ability to enjoy things,
exactly.
this is good.
A lot of people, I feel like, wanted this to be a full multiversal thing, and this is more of a character
Hmm.
focused season. This is a slower season because it is focusing solely on the character motivations and what they want. So I think people wanted to see all these different multiverses because that's what's
All right.
popular, but
So
we're
they're
focusing
multiverse of
on
the
this
madness
one.
thing list.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah, we're focusing on one
All right.
alternate universe that seems to be the perfect world for Peacemaker, where he's popular, he has everything he wants, he's seen as a hero, and our Peacemaker wants that life. He has never had that life. That is the drama. That is the conflict. While Rick Flag Sr. and Argus are hunting him down. So we have like two main conflicts that are going in this season. And for some people, it's not going fast enough. For me, I feel like it's been very well paced. And I think there won't be a lot of complaints at the end of this next episode if everything we hear about how it seems so big and has a big cliffhanger that people will be pretty like, okay, it's moving along now. So
I do appreciate that it comes on at 9, and the reason why is because
season 1 was 3 a.m.
Yeah, I appreciate like I want to watch Thursday Night Football, so like I realized that if you start at 9, you really just miss the second quarter for the most part, and maybe a little of the third. Like I was like, oh, we didn't miss much. I was quite happy. Of course, this Thursday night game ended up stinking between Washington and Green Bay. Green Bay just destroyed them. But I appreciate that you can kind of do both in the same night. Like it doesn't like completely interrupt. Like obviously, if the Ravens are on Thursday night, I ain't watching Peacemaker until after. But
do we have that at all coming up?
We have let's see. We have Thanksgiving. We play the Bengals.
Well, it'll be over by then. It's over October 9th. So we do not have a Thursday night game during this. So I just looked.
Okay, cool.
That's good.
Yeah.
All right. Well, at SupesandSabers on all of our social media, let us know your thoughts on the Man of Tomorrow news, Clayface set photo news that we talked about briefly at the beginning, and then the 2 episodes of Peacemaker that we just talked about, which felt like a nice little 1-2 punch as we get ready to head to the big one, the last one that the press has seen. So we're getting there next week. Thank you all for watching and listening along. We'll catch you next time when we talk Back to the Sutra. Peacemaker, Season 2, Episode 5.